Although the radiation technology may have stopped over the past week or so, there's still something going on. Indeed, the gang stalkers are still using voice to skull technology on me. The networks of Wiltshire Police are still operating some form of military grade hardware on me, i.e., this strange headache causing pulse beaming of some sort. These are slightly different from the Stasi style radiation techniques that they were using, coordinated by the Ferris family. But they're still using something on me remotely that is not only influencing my brain, it's also causing me severe headaches. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, getting a bit frustrated living in this certain residence because the female staff are trying to basically treat this place as a boot camp, which is stupid. It's probably something to do with the mentality of Warminster-ians and the fact that this is a garrison town, so they believe everything needs to be military grade. So it's all rather annoying indeed. There are still rumours going around Wiltshire that I am an operative of the Russian intelligence services. I've explained this so many times. I am not connected to any Russian state agencies. Indeed, they would not employ me anyway, even if they wanted to in this condition. And I would not work for Russian state intelligence anyway. My interest in Russia is in Russian mental patient culture. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, devices are still attempting to spread around the county that I am operative for the GRU, but I've explained the GRU are interconnected with devices police by networks of Nazi Satanists in the GRU, coordinated by the Dietrich and Kamala factions of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. This specific network of the GRU that has interest aligning with devices police is coordinated by networks of Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst operative GRU agents. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, I don't actually know the exact name of the GRU faction operating an interconnecting network with devices police, but I believe the network's name is Mastodon, i.e. this is a Satanist network of some sort within the GRU. I believe their code name is Mastodon. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. Due to the smokescreens surrounding intelligence agendas, at times it is very difficult to piece together information. However, I believe I'm doing okay, although I miss certain important aspects at times, but this is why this video diary needs to continue. Indeed, you have to consider that the devices police organ harvesting and satanic ritual abuse ring is a British intelligence coordinated operation. Despite the majority of operatives having loyalties to the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, it is still a British intelligence operation. So certain factions of the British intelligence community are overseeing the devices ring and are fully aware of the activities of devices locals interconnected with the ring activity. So it's all very interesting to note. Also, you have to remember we live in a surveillance state. So everything is tracked and traced and logged. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed all internet activity of every citizen in the United Kingdom is tracked, traced and logged. So no matter what the devices residents and the devices so-called local gangsters who are police informants think they're being secretive in their illicit activities regarding the rape of minors, they are not being secretive because someone knows about it. So it's all very interesting to consider. M-Gang's cover is blown, which is all very interesting indeed. M-Gang are actually a child ritual abuse network connected to National Action, which interlinks itself with the Order of Nine Angles. So effectively, M-Gang are a 764 branch. That's all very interesting to consider indeed. M-Gang are directly coordinated by National Action handler Alex Griffiths. So it's all very interesting to note the fact that M-Gang are a neo-Nazi satanic network heavily involved in the ritual abuse of children. So it's all very interesting to consider these guys walking around in their jean shorts thinking they're gangsters are actually serial abusers of small children from the age of 4 to 7. That's the ages of the children that M-Gang like to target. So it's all very interesting to consider the truth regarding devices. Indeed, as I stated, these operations are overseen by British intelligence, especially factions within MI5, i.e. the security services. Indeed, these factions are directly interlinked to the Orchids, an interagency network run by certain MI6 operatives who are actually simulacrum operatives. So these MI6 operatives aren't actually real human beings. Indeed, there are rumors that Vincent Melwood Rose isn't real, that he's actually a simulacrum. So the guy who oversees the Walter Rose and Sons butcher shop in Devizes is actually a simulacrum. He's AI. So it's all very interesting to consider that. Indeed, the Orchids, i.e. Project Orchid of British intelligence, is a transhumanist network attempting to create a singularity whereby the human brain is fused with artificial intelligence technology. And Vincent Melwood Rose is one of the projects of the Orchids. So it's all very interesting. I don't know if Vincent Melwood Rose is actually a real human being or is a simulacrum, kind of V for Vendetta style. It's all very interesting to consider that. Indeed, that network, the Orchids, the details of it are a closely classified state secret. So I technically shouldn't really be talking about the Orchids. But the thing is, they operate out of Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire, where there are a research team of real human beings creating these simulacrum operatives. So it's interesting to consider that there are whole networks of MI6 operatives who are actually simulacrum operatives. So they're AI. It's all very interesting to consider. They may look like real human beings, but they're actually artificial intelligence, holograms. So it's all very strange indeed. The Russian intelligence services are curious about Project Orchid because they have a similar project going of their own called Project Osprenitsy or something like that. And their project's operating out of Vladimirovka, interestingly, in Astrakhan Oblast. There's also a headquarters for this project in Arkhangelsk. So it's very interesting to consider that the Russian project is closely tied to certain phenomena that appeared over the years at Vladimirovka to do with holograms, basically. This is all beaming technology. Osprenitsy, I believe the Russian project is called, though I don't actually speak the Russian language, so I may be wrong, but I believe it's something like that. Also, I'm not supposed to know these code names. It's all very interesting. The Russian intelligence services are now trying to blur the camera now that I've mentioned about these networks operating out of Vladimirovka. It's interesting to consider that I was trained at Vladimirovka during the year 2013 in a top secret project connected to this Osplenitsy project. Indeed, I believe I actually encountered some of the simulacrum of the Russian intelligence services via my time in Vladimirovka, which I can't fully remember due to amnesia being placed on me by the GRU military intelligence doctors. So it's very interesting to consider. Not only did the Freemasons interconnected with the networks of Professor Julian Lovelock and Professor John Drew at Grenville Lodge turn me into an amnesia patient, but the GRU networks connected to Colonel Sergei Borodin of the GRU and Colonel Dmitry Pelinkov of the FSB also utilized some sort of processes to create amnesia within me, and so I became an amnesia patient again via the helping hand of the Russian military intelligence services and the Russian security services. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, also, as I've stated, the GRU networks, coordinated by Sepp Dietrich, interestingly, who is a key Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst operative in the Sicherheitsdienst continuum. Sepp Dietrich, his networks of the GRU are the ones coordinating the trafficking of 4,000 mental patients a year. So apparently I may have got the statistic wrong. I meant every 4 years, 4,000 patients every 4 years. It may be closer to 10,000 Russian mental patients every 4 years that are transported from various psychiatric hospitals and secret facilities within the Russian Federation, i.e. the enduring Soviet Union. And these Russian mental patients are trafficked through the ports of Vladivostok on a around the world trip, basically, to Wiltshire. And they are utilized as ritual sacrifices by the Freemasons who wish to bring in their new age, basically. Their age of Aquarius idea, basically. Those concepts are a little bit lost on me. Indeed, the whole Order of Nine Angles, New Eon, etc. It's all basically interlinking within the Masonic Satanist theory. It's all Illuminism. But they basically want to slaughter as many people as they can in ritual sacrifices to attempt to bring in their divine godhead, which will be their Messiah. So it's all very interesting to note. Indeed, it's sorry, I lost my trail of thought now. Indeed, so it could be estimated to be up to 10,000 due to the sheer amount of Russian psychiatric patients being held in these remote secure facilities. Indeed, it's hard to actually get the statistics of this number, but the Russian state, i.e. the networks of the GRU, i.e. Russian military intelligence services, are heavily involved in the mistreatment, mishandling, persecution, rape, abduction, and murder of psychiatric patients in the Russian Federation. So it's very interesting indeed. The Kamala faction, Hans Kamala's faction of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, operate a smuggling ring for organs back to the Russian Federation after the mental patients have been slaughtered by the butchers and their organs harvested. So it's interesting. Sepp Dietrich's faction coordinate the GRU operatives that are transporting the mental patients to Wiltshire. The butchers murder these Russian mental patients and then harvest their organs. And then Hans Kamler's faction of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, via networks of British intelligence through their Albanian mobsters and the British police cohorts, they oversee the transportation of the organs back to the Russian Federation to be used as basically for transplants for the elite and to be sold on the black market all around the globe, basically, to create a pretty penny for Putin's boys. So it's very interesting to consider the fact that the Russian state intelligence structure transports 10,000 psychiatric patients halfway across the world every 4 years to have them ritually sacrificed by some creepy Wiltshire butchers. And then the organs are transported back to the Russian Federation. So it's all very interesting. Indeed, this is due to a Masonic hierarchy. Indeed, the sacrifice of a mental patient is believed to possess great occult power, especially by a certain sect of Freemasons that operate in Wiltshire. Indeed, I believe that the Wiltshire Freemasons actually pay the Russian state quite handsomely for the procurement of these mental patients to indulge in these sacrifices. So it's interesting. And then the Russian state profit from the organ transplants and the sale of organs and body parts at the end. So the Russian state is a win-win because they get paid by the butcher Freemasons for the procurement of these psychiatric patients, and then they also get paid in organ sales at the end of it. So the Russian state is making a pretty penny off this rather strange, seedy little circuit that's being run via networks of Wiltshire butcher shops, such as C.J. Robbins' butcher shop in Warminster, and the all-powerful Walter Rosenson's butcher shop of Devizes. So it's all very interesting how this ring interconnects back up. And indeed, so this leads me to the question, if I was working for the GRU, why on earth would I expose a GRU operation? A very important GRU operation. This is one of the most concealed state secrets in the Russian archives. The Wiltshire has always existed as a GRU trafficking cartel. It's interesting that the GRU pay handsomely local criminals and local wannabe gangsters to operate this organ harvesting scheme, all in communion with this strange orchid network of British intelligence, which is a simulacrum network. So it's all very interesting. Indeed, the Russians are also operating their own simulacrum network through Project Osplenitsy. So it's all a very, very, very strange state of affairs indeed. What is the point of all of this? What does it achieve? Indeed, all this simulacrum stuff is really quite scary. It's all very strange. Indeed, this investigation into this octopus that is interconnected with Wiltshire Police is becoming increasingly weird. Indeed, actually beginning to struggle with the directions that this octopus of Wiltshire Police is taking me in, because it's taking me to all sorts of strange places and strange research trajectories. But it's all very interesting indeed. This investigation is actually severely helping my mental health. That's the strange thing about it. I believe that my brain loves information of this nature. So it's all very interesting indeed. All of the research I'm doing on the research trajectories is basically brain fuel. So it's all very interesting indeed. I have a feeling that things aren't going according to plan for Wiltshire Police at the moment. So it's all very interesting indeed. My videos are beginning to break through in places that Devizes Police did not want them to. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. Devizes Police are probably going to introduce new conditions on my release from hospital which could involve not mentioning Devizes Police on any videos. So if that happens, I'll just have to thinly veil their identities. Indeed, they'll find a way around it. It's interesting that they would introduce a gag order on me. This is the thing, Devizes Police's behaviour and the behaviour of the Devizes Township only proves to me and to others that I am telling the truth about the filth of Devizes, indeed. Anyway, I've been around in some strange directions. I can't explain this simulacrum network very well because my knowledge of hyper-advanced technology isn't very astute. So I have to go further into this orchid network. It's all very interesting. This is a singularity network. And although there are real human researchers in it, it seems to be run by operatives who are actually cyborgs. So it's all very interesting. I think Vincent Melwood Rose, the supposed true owner of Walter Rose and Sons Butcher Shop, is actually a cyborg. That's all very strange indeed. Indeed, the mayor of Warminster and the Wiltshire Police Crime Commissioner, Philip Wilkinson, have issued a demand that I be killed recently. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. That councillor of Warminster, Mayor Jack Jones, Mayor of Warminster, Councillor Jack Jones, looks like a demon. So very interesting to consider. His facial features, he looks like a demon. So he obviously rapes children. It's obvious. You can see it in his face. Indeed, I'm going to leave it there now.